So with the release of Intel's 14th generation CPUs just around the corner, motherboard manufacturers have been updating their Z790 motherboards in anticipation. So this is ASUS's ROG Strix Z790-E Gaming Wi-Fi 2, the second version of this motherboard with new and improved features ready for Intel's 14th gen. So it's currently available for pre-order, just under $500 US is what it's going to set you back. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed and see what's new. So this is everything that comes in the box with the motherboard. So we've got a quick start guide, we've got some stickers, we've got some information about ASUS web storage and an ROG keychain. We've got two SATA data cables, one has got a right angle connector and one's got a straight connector. We've got our Wi-Fi antenna for our Wi-Fi 7, we've got some cable ties, and then we've got some M.2 accessories. So we've got some Q latches and some heat pads. Taking a closer look at our motherboard, working along the bottom from left to right. First of all, we've got our HT audio connector. Next to that, we've got our Thunderbolt stroke USB 4 header. Then we've got two 3-pin 5V ARGB headers. Just above this, we've got an alternative PCIe mode switch. In its default position all the way over to the left-hand side, it's in auto. Moving it to the middle sets it to Gen 4, while pushing it all the way over to the right-hand side selects Gen 3. Next to that, we've got a system fan header, followed by 3 USB 2.0 ports. We've then got a temperature sensor header, followed by another 2 system fan headers. At the bottom right-hand side of the motherboard, we've got our system panel header, which includes our front panel connectors, power LED, speaker, and chassis intrusion headers. Working up the right-hand side of the motherboard, first of all, we've got a USB 3.2 Gen 1 right-angle connector, followed by 4 SATA ports, and then another USB 3.2 Gen 1 connector, and this one is forward facing. Just above that, we've got a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type-C front panel connector, which can support speeds of up to 20 gigabits per second and 30-watt fast charging. We've then got our 24-pin connector, followed by a start button, which can be used to power on the system. And then at the top of the motherboard, we've got our postcode status screen and LEDs, which will be useful if you need to troubleshoot the motherboard. Working along the top of the motherboard from right to left, first of all, we've got a 4-pin 12V RGB header, followed by the motherboard's third and final 3-pin 5V ARGB header. Next to that, we've got our CPU overvoltage header. With the jumper in its default position in pins 1 and 2, this is turned off. If you move the jumper over to pins 2 and 3, this then allows you to set a higher CPU voltage if you're planning to aggressively overclock your new 14th gen CPU. We've then got our 3 CPU fan headers. First of all, we've got our AIO pump header, followed by our CPU fan header. We've got CPU opt header. At the top left-hand side of the motherboard, we've got 2 8-pin EPS power connectors to provide additional power to your CPU. Our final 2 system fan headers are just above the first M.2 slot, giving us a total of 5 system fan headers on the motherboard. The motherboard features an 18+1+2 power stage design, and you can see we've got really beefy heatsinks over the VRM connected with an L-shaped heat pipe. In the middle of the motherboard, we've got our LGA 1700 socket, which is compatible with Intel's 12th, 13th, and now 14th generation CPUs. To improve the compatibility with older CPU coolers, ASUS have included 2 sets of mounting holes, so we've got both LGA 1700 and LGA 1200 mounting holes. The motherboard has 4 DDR5 slots and supports dual channel memory up to a maximum of 192 gigabytes at 8000 megatransfers per second overclocked. And we've got a nice ROG logo over the Z790 chipset. The motherboard has 3x16 size PCIe slots. The top one is a Gen 5 slot, while the bottom 2 are Gen 4 slots. It's good to see the top Gen 5 slot is reinforced, and also that it features ASUS's Q release button. So this is really handy if you've, for example, got a large graphics card, particularly with a large air cooler in place. It can be really hard to reach the clip on the PCIe slot. So this button over towards the right hand side of the motherboard does exactly the same thing. You press it in and it releases the clip on the slot. So the Gen 5 slot will run in x16 mode unless you've installed an M.2 drive in the top M.2 slot, in which case it will downgrade to x8 mode. And the lower Gen 4 PCIe slots will run in x4 mode, with the PCIe lanes coming from the chipset. We've got 5 M.2 slots on the motherboard, and you can see the top M.2 slot has a really beefy heatsink, marking it out as our Gen 5 slot. I'll go ahead and remove the heatsinks to give you a closer look at things. So as I mentioned, it's the top M.2 slot which is our Gen 5 slot, while the other 4 slots are Gen 4 slots. So each of the M.2 slots will run in by 4 mode, with the CPU lanes for the top Gen 5 slot and also our bottom left Gen 4 slot coming from the CPU, while the PCIe lanes for the other 3 Gen 4 slots coming from the chipset. The bottom right Gen 4 M.2 slot also supports SATA modes. Installing your M.2 drive should be quick and simple with ASUS's Q-Release clips. Taking a look at our rear I/O, as you'd expect in a motherboard in this price point, it does feature an integrated I/O shield. Taking a look at the ports, first of all we've got a HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 1.4. We've got a clear CMOS and BIOS flashback buttons. We've then got 10 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports, which will support speeds of up to 10 gigabits per second. We've then got 2 USB Type-C ports. The top one is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port supporting speeds of 10 gigabits per second, and the lower one is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 port supporting speeds of up to 20 gigabits per second. Next to this we've got a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port. We've then got the antenna ports for our Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4, and at the bottom we've got our gold-plated audio connectors, and the motherboard supports 7.1 HD surround sound. So I do think it's worth just giving you a quick comparison between the new version and the older version of the motherboard. So in terms of aesthetics, the main things I'm noticing is a slightly different design over the I/O shield and the chipset, and I do definitely prefer the design on the second version of the motherboard. In terms of the ports, the main thing I'm noticing is we've got an extra USB 2.0 header at the bottom of the motherboard, and with more CPU coolers and power supplies now using these devices, it's great to see this added in. But I think the big difference between the motherboards is in terms of the specs. So both the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi have been upgraded. So we've got Wi-Fi 7 compared to Wi-Fi 6E. We can support more memory in the new version of the motherboard and also up to faster speeds. And the other big difference I'm noticing with the second version of the motherboard is all 10 of our Type A ports on the back will support up to 10 gigabit per second speeds, whereas only 6 of the ports will support this on the older version of the motherboard, with 4 of the ports supporting up to 5 gigabit per second speeds. For completeness, it is important to point out 3 accessories that came with the original version of the motherboard that don't seem to be included with the second version. The first is 2 fan brackets. This one was for cooling your VRM, and this one was for cooling your DDR5. Although it is important to say the fans that you would need to use either of these weren't included with the first version, and I imagine most people never use these. The final thing is a GPU support bracket. Again, I've never used any of these, and I think most people don't, and that's probably why ASUS have left them out with the second version. So I do really think this is a good looking motherboard, and ASUS have gone with it. It's not broke, don't fix it. So just a few small improvements to modernize it and get it ready for the 14th gen CPUs. So ASUS and Intel have hooked me up with something nice to go with this motherboard. So you'll be seeing it together with the motherboard on a build on the channel fairly shortly, and thanks to ASUS and Intel for that. So if you have enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching.